Ahead on TSN Sports Desk, the 84th Grey Cup was a winter wonderland for both the Argos and Eskimos. But controversy late in the game had the Edmonton sidelines all heated up. In Vancouver, the Grizzlies put their claw.
96 football season began. The Toronto Argos began building with only one goal in mind, and that was to bring the Grey Cup back to Toronto. 1991 was the last year the Cup visited the city. The Argos signed coach Don Matthews. They brought in Doug Flutie and a host of key players. Sunday night in Hamilton against the Edmonton Eskimos, they put it all on the line. It was -10 at game time, and the Eskies win the toss. They elect to kick off so they can have the 20-kilometer-an-hour winds behind them in the fourth quarter. But will it help? Let's pick it up here near at the end of the first quarter. Danny McManus airs it out, and check out this catch. Eddie Brown off both legs and into his fingertips. Unbelievable. A 64-yard play, 9-0 for the Eskimos. In the second quarter, and oh, what a quarter it was, Jimmy Cunningham takes the punt at his own 30, cups up the middle. Big block on Glenn Harper, an 80-yard punt return, second longest in Grey Cup history, and the Argos lead it 10-9. Later on, Danny McManus will hit the 35-year-old Jim Sandusky. A nice catch here. Two Argos crash into each other. A 75-yard touchdown catch. Edmonton regains the lead 16-13. Argos then regain the lead. Robert Drummond bowls his way in from the 1, and the Argos are up 20-16. However, on the ensuing kickoff, Henry Gizmo Williams takes the ball on his own 19, and the Giz is off to the races. 91 yards. That'll break Rocket Ishmael's Grey Cup record for the longest kickoff return, 23-20. Eskimos, the crowd was loving it, and Gizmo takes a bow. However, the Argos come right back. Flutie calls his own number, runs it in, 27-23 Argos at the half. As we move to the fourth quarter, Argos up 33-30, third and inches. Flutie fumbles, but the ref rules forward progress was good for the first down, and the play was dead, but it's obvious bad call. Ron Lancaster runs out, loses it. Bad call, major turning point. Argos kicked a field goal to make it 36-30 late in the fourth. McManus to Darren Flutie through his arms and into Adrian Smith's hands. Runs it back 49 yards for the touchdown. 43-30 Argos. And Don Matthews knows he's got his third Grey Cup ring. The Eskimos added a late touchdown, but it was a little too late as the Argos win it 43-37. Doug Flutie was named the game's MVP. Flutie was also the game's leading rusher, carrying for 98 yards with the touchdown. And Oakville, Ontario's Mike Vanderjagt nailed all 5 of his field goal tries. He was named top Canadian. Now with our full analysis, here is Darren Detition.
Thanks very much, Teresa. You know, this game was not what we anticipated at all. When you take a look at the conditions on the field and the respective defenses, we thought it was going to be a tight football game. Forget it. It was the Flutie factor and I guess the footwear as well, Glenn Suter.
Absolutely. I mean, Doug Flutie had a great game, rushed for 98 yards, and he really did run to get first downs, and he had a great game plan, executed properly, and took advantage of the poor footing from the defense from the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, the Edmonton Eskimos could not stop Toronto, but they racked up enough points to keep themselves in this football game during the entire course of it until the final few seconds when time ran out, unfortunately, on them. The Argonauts, though, victorious. Rod Smith has more.
Many people thought the elements would favor the Eskimos, and while Edmonton did play an excellent football game, so too did the Argos, led by an offense that indeed proved it can handle the snow and the cold. And certain vindication for one quarterback, Doug Flutie.
I've played some of my best games in bad weather, but I've lost a couple of games in bad weather as well. And those seem to be the ones people remember. So maybe this will dispel some of that and tell the idiots to get lost.
He was awesome. I mean, he played Flutie ball to the max, and you know, he just kept probing, finding a way to win, and that's what he does. And he can do it in snow and rain, in the dome or wherever. He's just magic.
I think that the people who were saying that, you know, were basically the fans and the reporters. You never heard that from a Toronto Argonaut mouth about snow or weather conditions like that. You know, half the guy, I grew up in Syracuse, New York. We get more snow than Toronto. You know, we can football is football. Whether you play, you know, in a hot sun, you know, or blizzard or snow. You know, it doesn't matter. You just go out there and play football. Once you line up on that field for 60 minutes, you just go out there, and the best team is going to be the victor.
This game was also remarkably free of turnovers, although it looked like there was a fumble here by Flutie. After the game, he said he wasn't sure.
I started to lose the handle on the ball, and I heard the whistle, and the ball went flying out, and I'm thank you for the whistle. I don't know whether it was or wasn't, but it was close.
I told my wife that after this we're going to have to go home and have another child, because that's the only feeling that is better than this feeling right now. After experiencing the pain of losing and then coming back, and not only more than that, 1991, I don't think I understood as much about what the Grey Cup meant as I do today.
While Flutie won the game MVP, no one, I'm sure, will dispute Mike Vanderjagt being named top Canadian as well. He went 5 for 5 in the field goal department. That might have been the biggest difference in this football game. And now with the story on the Eskimos, here's Ken Chillibeck.
Thank you very much, Rod. Obviously a very disappointed Edmonton Eskimos football club, but just the same, some outstanding performances by a number of their players. No one could be embarrassed in this game. A player like a Darren Flutie playing with a separated shoulder.
Yeah, I'm physically hurting in this game. I separated my shoulder in the third quarter, and when late when I came out, just turned my ankle. But that's, that's football.
We're just definitely disappointed, but we knew it would be a close game. We felt we could come out here and beat them. There was no lack of confidence that way.
It was a frustrated Eskimo coach, Ron Lancaster. The non-call on an apparent Doug Flutie fumble in the dying minutes had him outraged on the field. But in the dressing room after, Lancaster held his frustration in.
When you put the ball on the tee, you play, and when they blow the gun, you stop. And in between, you give it everything you got. And that's all you can ever ask out of anybody. He's a good bunch of guys.
Ronnie, talk about the non-call.
No.
You're not going to?
No.
So that's a story from the Edmonton Eskimos dressing room. A disappointing finish, obviously, but the common theme from all the players, nothing to be ashamed about. A break one way or the other, they could have been on the winning end of the score. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Ken. This was a real disappointing loss for the Edmonton Eskimos. And let's talk about one particular play, which will be the bone of contention, I guess, for years to come, especially for Edmonton. You've got less than 2 minutes left to go in the football game. The Toronto Argonauts are driving. We decide to go on it in 3rd and 1. We thought Flutie had fumbled.
He absolutely did fumble. And I go back to that clip of Doug Flutie saying he has to take a look at the film. Well, he doesn't have to look at the film. It was a terrible call by the official. The Edmonton Eskimos got jobbed on the play, but who knows whether or not it would have made a difference. I mean, we can't say for sure that Edmonton would have drove the ball down the field and kicked the tying field goal or scored the winning touchdown. So Toronto earned the victory, and it was interesting to see Ron Lancaster's comments after the game, because that's a classy move for the head coach in a situation like that not to blame the officiating.
Yeah, I'm glad that you qualified that. The Edmonton Eskimos, though, having said that, in the back of their minds, when they go, 96, the Grey Cup, we had a chance. We had a chance. Unfortunately, it did not work out for them. But like you said, though, you have to give full credit to the Toronto Argonauts. To rack up 43 points against the Edmonton Eskimos defense was absolutely outstanding.
It really was. They had a great game plan ready for them. They executed it perfectly. Doug Flutie ran the ball when he had to. Robert Drummond had a great game up inside. I mean, against Montreal in the Western Final, he was a receiver. In this game, he was a fullback and did a great job.
Yeah, and forget about Doug Flutie being a fair-weather quarterback. He had the glass cutter gloves on. He could have had oven mitts the way he was playing. He was throwing the ball that effective. We appreciate your analysis during the course of the week. It's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much.
Let's return to Sports Desk.
They were slipping and sliding at Ivor Stadium in Hamilton on Sunday in the 84th Grey Cup, and it made for one exciting highlight of the night. Let's go back to Hamilton. Danny McManus throws for Eddie Brown, an unbelievable grab. Watch this, from his foot into his hands and then in for the major. We've got it from another angle for you to check out, and you'll see as it pops off his foot back to his hands, he's got it. A great catch, but it was the Argos' night to celebrate as they win the 84th Grey Cup 43-37. Doug Flutie was the game's MVP, also the game's leading rusher, and afterwards he had a chance to talk with our Rod Smith.
We had just pointed out this weekend, it was the 12th anniversary of the famous Hail Mary at Boston College. That'll always go down as probably the #1 event. Put this Grey Cup victory in perspective, though.
It's one of the top 2 or 3 for sure. That was probably the most exciting play that I've ever been involved in. This is probably the most exciting game ever.
I know you're talking to a lot of people about this earlier on and about some of the criticism you took about bad weather. That was a little extra determination for you when you saw snow on the field, or did it matter at all?
It doesn't go factor into how you play, but as an after effect, maybe they can just shut up, take that, and the heck with it. I mean, it's been last 5 years I've been to 3 Grey Cups, won 2 of them. Played my butt off in Western Finals. We've won some, we've lost a couple, but all you can do is go out and play as hard as you can, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk about the future, and you haven't wanted to address that. As far as you feel, though, you'd love to be back and keep
I'll
playing
address
this
it. I'm an Argo. I'm under contract with the Argos, and I plan on being an Argo. And I plan on this league being around next year.
And certainly this was a good advertisement, what we saw out here tonight.
No question about it. people can't get excited about this, they can't get excited.
Thanks, Doug. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Doug Flutie and the Toronto Argos, the 1996 Grey Cup champions. And just a reminder, you can catch the Hockey Hall of Fame in